Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Crate Expectations. I'm here with my co-host, Craft Dinner, Sarah. How are you today, Sarah?
I'm good now that you've related me to mac and cheese. So
That's
good.
yeah, you. That's the way you say it, though. That's the way of your people, is it not?
It is. It's called craft dinner, not mac and cheese.
Yeah, that's it's the thing we were talking about. So we are live, recording live, so we might be responding to people in the crowd. But
Hmm.
this is also it's been a while since we've done a podcast style discussion.
It
We've had,
has.
good, but there's a lot. So finally, there's a lot to discuss.
I know. I feel like CG just really liked our last crate expectations and they went, okay, and just copied it.
I think so. They were like, like they were like, oh, that was way better than our road ahead, and they just you could see Meat just like taking notes.
Furiously editing.
Yeah, editing intensifies.
Uh yeah, so I was like going through our show notes and I was like gonna go look for everything to add and then I was like there's just too much to talk about. So this lets me play into my lazy side and I don't have to update anything because there's just so much to talk about.
There is what could we possibly talk about?
Um so road ahead, obviously.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, we already talked about that though.
Okay, so to be fair, we speculated that Naboo would be the territory battle planet and it's not Naboo, but there is Naboo content coming.
I mean, I never actually thought that though. I was just like, oh, what if it is?
I know. But we know now that it's not.
Yeah, what if they surprise us and give us another one
You know what
with
we
it?
oh, like another territory battle planet at the same time?
No, I take it back. This sounds horrible.
Yeah, you just like gave me a little bit of a panic attack. That would be terrible to plan for.
You'd think that I showed you math accidentally.
I was going to say we should talk about probably the thing that everybody was asking for. Uh, guild gifting.
That everyone, I know that was the most disingenuous thing that they've said for a long time. They've been asking this for a long time. Everyone's asking, please, can we spend more money? But not even on our own accounts. We have to spend it on guildmates.
Uh, it is, I will say, I do think they kind of missed something with this, which is that it's only limited to guild members and you can't gift to your allies.
Yeah, that would be nice, I guess. Also, I'm actually really surprised that they're not letting us buy the gamble packs for or for our guildmates.
I
Yeah,
guess
for new
because
characters.
I guess because technically when you get a guild gift, it goes to your inbox and you have to claim it. So with a gamble pack, I don't know how that would work. Like, would you just get random shards sent to your inbox, or would it like let you roll the gamble pack itself?
I don't know.
Oh, I'm
I want
just
to know.
speculating.
Does anyone know? I'd be interested in chat. Is there a decline button? Like, if there's there a gifted the
There's
thing
not.
that? Okay, so if I was like, man, okay, not gonna
So,
cut any corners. Like that. This is the most convincing argument for free to play that I can think of that I've heard is people saying, I don't want to cut corners. I just want to do the whole thing myself. Like I want to just like
right,
what if I'm like, hey, you're in my guild and I'm tired of your slovenly looking first order.
right.
Let's pep them up a little bit. So I'm gonna spend $10 to go have a rat gnaw that thing off your face. It's a movie quote, by the way. And and then
Harsh.
suddenly, I know it's rough. It's actually John Candy's great. But there's suddenly like this person is suddenly cutting corners that they didn't want to cut.
Right. Um,
There's like then they can't refuse. They're just like, oh,
Yeah, there's a it goes to your inbox. There's a claim thing. It tells you who sent it.
oh.
Uh,
So if you don't claim it, then you don't.
I don't know what happens if you don't claim it because from what I've seen, there isn't like a timer, like a you know how like if you have like when you hit your mod inventory and your mods go there, you have like a week to claim them or however long it is. Um, so yeah, I haven't seen that.
Prime says that there's no expiration date on
There
the
is,
claim.
yeah, I didn't
So
think
you're
there
just
was.
so you're just either plagued with the OCD little circle thing
I mean,
forever,
I feel like, yeah, I guess. I feel like why wouldn't you just claim it though?
because you want to do it yourself.
I know, but at that like if Buddy in your guild buys you something, then he's out the money and you're just gonna let it sit in your inbox? It feels like a dick thing to do.
I think it could honestly be a dick thing to do to someone, frankly.
I mean, I think
I mean,
so. I think you have
what?
to I think you would need to know the like I don't want to say like know the person well enough, but know well enough whether they would be willing to like be accepting of that basically.
I mean, yeah, like just because someone intends to do something nice for you and buy you flowers,
Right.
I'm guessing there are certain people that you would just not want to receive flowers from, right?
Oh, totally. That
Like
you would just
you
like
would,
go and take them right to the trash.
yeah, you're like, I don't want this, actually, not from you.
Hmm.
That's not what I'm looking for. Not interested. But like, you might just have. Oh man, what just happened? Oh, mole pills gifting. See, I couldn't turn that down. I didn't have the option. 500 bits from mole pills. Thanks, man. Another 500. I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know if people can hear it. That's weird. Thanks, mole pills. I appreciate you, man. Yeah, like I feel like this is. I don't know. Like I would accept it honestly, but I feel like it could be a bad situation of like I don't want your stuff, man.
right.
Like stop giving me. And then there's a certain level of like, dude, why aren't you doing your stuff? Like now you're obligated to get things done, to do things that, you're like I didn't want to have to do that special mission. But now I have the characters at the right relics without my
Right.
choice.
I would feel like the biggest asshole leaving like a gift in my inbox. And especially because like you know who sent it. So you can't even like play the ignorant card and like it clearly tells you in your inbox who sent it to you and then when you hit claim it's like big letters at the top telling you their name again.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't reject it. I feel like there are some people who just don't want that noise. Like
Hmm.
they don't. But you were kind of just forcing them to accept it or accept that being in your inbox forever.
Right. Yeah.
Whatever. I'm guessing the majority of people I'm guessing most people don't care, frankly. But yeah,
I'm also guessing the people that are in guilds that would have other people gifting things to them would be accepting of it. Like I don't know. I can't see it being like people being hardcore, don't buy me anything, but then also being in the same guild as a player who's willing to spend money on another person. Maybe there is. I have no idea.
I don't know. So I hope everyone's gifting things goes well,
Mhm.
and I hope that my guild gets at the program and starts gifting things to other extremely worthy content creators in your guild.
No shame whatsoever. So no one's gifted you anything. I think
No,
someone tried to buy Professor X Lightspeed bundle, but you had already bought in it.
I know. I think someone was like, "You're ineligible." I think they were just seeing though if they could. So
True.
see,
Fair.
Molpils just keeps forcing his 500 bits on me. Take my unsolicited bits and like it. See, I do not have to like it, sir. I do have to accept them though. So, and gratefully.
uh,
That's funny.
Prime, it basically, if somebody's already bought the Lightspeed bundle for themselves, or if someone bought it for them, they're grayed out in like the selection list of the guild. So you
Hmm.
can't. So Professor X was not eligible to be selected.
I know. Someone told me I was ineligible. I was like, I turned in all my work. Like that's. I don't know about Canada. You guys have weird terms for everything, but ineligible is like a typically used a lot of times at least
Mhm.
for like in high school if you want to participate in sports you have to have passing grades in all your classes, otherwise you're ineligible.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
No, I'm just trying to bridge the culture gap between us.
Such a gap. Uh, I am curious though if they will roll it out to allies or not.
Yeah, I mean that seems like that could be it. I don't know. It is just a funny. I wonder how much money they're gonna make off of it. I mean, I don't really blame them. I do think it was disingenuous. They're like the thing people won't stop hounding us about.
I
Like,
also think that was disingenuous.
I'm like, what about all the bugs you need to fix? Like, what about the hounding that you receive for that? Like, is that just deaf ears, or what about like the user interface for Datacrons that is
Yeah.
just total crap still, like just garbage.
I could see them having like, a little bit of an influx in the first couple of days because it's a novelty thing, and then it just wearing off.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and honestly, I think the most garbage thing is like $15 for one Omicron material is madness.
Yeah.
$300 for one full Omicron.
It's yeah. That is disgusting.
That is completely crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get it, but that's actually not the most interesting thing of all the releases and stuff. And the most interesting thing is we didn't predict it.
The guild gifting, I
Yeah,
I can't believe that was not. I mean, I
I know.
we all
I
wanted it.
I usually catch a whiff of something like that. Like if everyone wants something, usually like it's like yeah, okay, we'll
I
see. Yeah.
I will say the other thing with this guild gifting that seems to be like uh not going over well is the Lightspeed bundles are in them, but they're only in them for guild gifting. Um, and so yesterday, in case I don't I didn't buy all of the Ray Lightspeed bundles when they first came around.
Mm.
So I went into the game and I got a pop-up in game that the Ray Lightspeed, the JTR one was back. Clicked on the pop-up. It takes me to the store, the regular store, not the guild gifting one, where the pack is not available.
Hmm.
So you can't purchase it for yourself, but it is available in the guild gifting store and I can buy it for someone else.
Congratulations.
Yeah. I was like, why would you give me a pop-up for something that I can't buy for myself? And also take me to the wrong store.
I don't know why, Sarah. I don't have the answers for you.
I know. I'm just pointing
I'm
it
trying.
out.
I'm
Maybe
trying.
it's a
Trying
bug
to.
that they don't care about.
I'm trying to move on from this topic. But if you want to keep
Okay,
ranting, that's
sorry.
fine. I'll just be.
Move on.
We we can mute you for a
Go
little
ahead.
bit.
You could
No, let's see
move
here.
me.
Let's hear more.
That was all. I was just pointing it out.
I know that's all you have to say. Because that's all you should have to say about it. Just kidding. Um, no, I think it doesn't surprise me, and even the disingenuousness of everyone wanted it. Like, also, who are we kidding ourselves? What part of his like he also Meat had this little thing. He's like, I'm gonna have to think a long time before I decide what I'm gonna farm. in his
Mm.
road ahead. Like he had that little sentence. It's gonna take a late night and some snacks. I was like, is it okay? That's gonna be difficult, I guess. A hard, tough decision. Why not farm all of it? So, all right. What do you think about Gun Guns? They're coming out.
Yep,
Big boss Nas is here.
he is. He's in game.
Qui Gon Jinn and Jedi Consular are both apparently Gungans.
Uh, I was curious how his marquee was gonna go, with no other Gungans on his team, and apparently we get a weak ass Qui-Gon to use. Um, I was pleasantly surprised that when I unlocked your boss Nass on Professor X today, I took him to 3 star, I took him to level 85, and then I did absolutely nothing. I think I threw random mods on him,
Oh,
think, but I did no gear upgrade and no ability upgrade, and I was still able to hit auto on the next tier with the super weak Qui-Gon and win.
must not be that weak.
Well, I mean, he only had the 2 protection bars, so I'm thinking he's pretty weak. But it worked. Must be that shield generator.
Yeah, there's some serious issues with Boss Nass's kit as it currently stands, and the thing that people kept reminding me, which is hilarious because I feel like I said it, but maybe I just didn't represent it that much in my video. Like I think the other Gungans are going to fill in the gaps,
Yeah, I
probably.
when I was reading his kit, I was getting not like confused, but there were pieces of it that weren't really, especially when it comes to the shield generator itself with recharge and whatever the other thing it is that it has, the 10 shield, whatever. Um, there were pieces of it that I was like, there's stuff missing, and it has to be the other Gungans filling it in.
Yeah, well, like my biggest concern right now is he gives up all of his health to go into protection, and that makes him real tanky, and he keeps regenerating his protection, and that's cool. But then he has like no health at all, and characters like Ben Solo or I don't know, even just Count Dooku, who just ignore protection entirely,
Yeah.
just like one shot him, and
Uh,
and and there's all these different effects that base out that they're like, hey, have some bonus protection. It's like thanks, based on what health? Like what health do I have to actually like? I'm not gonna count on that bonus protection because I have such little health already
mm,
that like 0% of or 100% of zero is we're not
that's a
supposed to keep
good point.
like you just like there's just that lack of health is brutal, man.
That's a really
And
good point. I didn't even think about that.
I'm just you would think maybe they'll address that. I don't know. Maybe they'll just be immune. Like maybe Jar Jar is unique or something will be like, hey, you can't actually hit health until you've gotten rid of protection
Hmm.
or something. This character can't be defeated until all of his protection is gone or
Right.
something, or like his whole team. That would probably save it. Like there are things they could do to save it, but right now it just makes the whole team look really frail to certain specific
Hmm.
teams.
It's just weird because it's a whole it's a whole faction that's being rolled out that like we literally know nothing of where they're going with it and what's going to happen. So, um, it's hard to see what they're going to be capable of based off of one character, and then
Right.
like we're basically just having to speculate and fill in the gaps.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like they're gonna make them really tanky, and against certain targets, it's gonna be like, oh man, this team like won't die
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Um,
agree. I mean, I'm interested. I'm not like gonna go crazy and be like, oh man, this is gonna be such a great team. I want to see the rest of the kits.
well, I'm glad that they released the kits that like with the leadership out
Hmm.
first. Actually, that I think that was a wise choice because otherwise, the other kits. I mean, like when they released, who did they release first? Like Second Sister or something for Inquisitors.
Yeah, I think she was the first one.
It was like, what am I even looking at?
Hmm.
It was just weird. Okay, thanks for the character.
Yeah. Well,
Because she wasn't even a pilot yet, you know?
yeah, and I feel like that. I mean, Inquisitors were weird because they all had leaderships, but I feel like
And
it just makes
Omicrons.
sense to release the leader first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Like, I don't know. Take note for next time.
sure. Well, and for to be honest, to be clear, realistically, they couldn't release Grand Inquisitor's kit right away,
Right. But
or Reva's.
you could have done Fifth Brother first.
Yeah, I mean, he that would have been better, but
But we had to get Second Sister because we were gonna get the ship in Conquest. So
I mean, I'm in the end fine with it. I'm just really glad that we don't have to wait a really long time to see the leadership and like, oh,
that's
that's
how.
why they're doing so many weird things.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. So,
So yeah. As a side note, you and I both did this.
hmm
Buying. So it sounds a little crazy, but and sounds like we're pro CG saying this, which I'm not like anti CG, but I'm not trying to sell you anything. I just if you want to farm his shards, the math of it is if you want to farm his shards fairly quickly once he's released and
hmm
you're doing refreshes and stuff, if you're doing two refreshes on him, I think for eventually when he's released, you're doing two refreshes on him. It's actually math wise better to use your crystals right now to buy two gamble packs.
right, so that you can get him to 4 star.
Yep, and then every day you'll be doing that mission, the recurring mission,
Yeah,
where you get another shard, or you get 5 shards, but you have to have 4 stars in order to get those bonus shards,
right.
right?
Yeah, yeah, because it starts on that tier, the 4 star tier.
Right. So if you can get him to 4 stars,
hmm Which is 10 shards worth out of the gamble pack because you're getting uh they're giving you whatever it is,
yeah.
55 shards on the first tier and then you get an extra 20 on the second, I think.
And if you get lucky, the Prime points this out in chat. If you get lucky and just spike a 10 or higher on your
Yeah,
gamble pack, then you don't have to buy another one.
right, exactly. And then
But
you're all set.
But long term, that'll save you shard, or that'll save you crystals from your long term farm later. So if you have the crystals,
hmm
you want to spend on two gamble packs,
Right.
like
And
right now.
there is also right now 5 free shards in the web store that you can get for him, which I believe it looks like from the data mine is a one time. It's not like a daily thing where you'll get 5 shards every day. It's a one time 5 free shards.
Okay, thank you. I guess
I'm just saying.
so. No, it's so random. I'm not saying you're. No, it's good. It's good information. I'm sorry if I sounded dismissive of you for that. I'll be dismissive of other things, but not that was good information. It's just so random sometimes the
It
things the CG
is.
does. That's all.
It is. I was really excited to tell you that I bought these gamble packs because I thought you would really want to know that I took 2,600 crystals and did not put them towards Leviathan.
I don't want you to learn about Leviathan at this point. It's just like you've decided to not learn. I hope you enjoy the results.
You're
Okay.
gonna smite me one day.
Jeez. People wonder why I give you a hard time. Dear Lord.
But in terms of timing, so I was looking at the Jedi Cal release from last year because we got Jedi Cal at the end of June, and I was looking at his marquees, the requirements started in March. It was like March 6th or 10th was the first marquee. And his characters that were required, the 5 of them, were released every 2 weeks, essentially. There was a gap of 3 weeks between um, 2 of them, but then only 1 week between the last two. So it works out to be 2 weeks each. So if we're starting now, we're pretty much on track to have the same sort of release cadence, which would put Jar Jar at the end of June again. Um,
Yeah.
but that also, I was also looking at it because in terms of when the new raid would start, they originally said the speeder bike raid would have a shelf life of 8 to 9 months, and 8 months is start of July. And I don't see them starting the new raid without Jar Jar being in the game, and I don't see them starting the new raid without Queen Amidala being in the game either, who they said would also be useful in the raid. And she's gonna have two new characters that go with her as well, apparently. And I'm assuming those will be marquees as well.
Dude, it's a lot of assumptions, but
It
I think
is
you're right.
it is a lot of assumptions. So basically, I feel like we're gonna get a new marquee every 2 weeks until June.
Oh, that's pretty good.
And also because Padme will start next conquest cycle, which means we would unlock her in June as well. So we get Padme in June unlocked if you do it in 3 months, Jar Jar in June theoretically, and then new raid would be I'm gonna guess mid-July,
Okay.
and
This is probably.
I feel like it's a lot coming at us in the next few months.
Yeah, I mean, finally, you know? I think the thing that's kind of weirding me out here is just the total absence of anything dark side.
Ooh, that's a good point. I didn't even realize that.
It's just like a ton of light side in a row. And I mean, granted, they've been one-sided on a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm.
Like conquest characters when they released them. I mean, the conquest characters, I haven't really thought about it in terms of framing that as part of the argument. But people say that Trench isn't going to get his capital ship because they have to do a light side capital ship. I don't think they care, and the reason I don't think they care, part of it is their conquest releases are like completely lopsidedly dark side, just overwhelmingly. Like it's been well over a year since we've had a light side release in Conquest, and I'm fine with that. I'm not even complaining. I just think CG doesn't care, and frankly, I also, we could be wrong about Trench not getting a ship, but you know, it just to me it seems like they're really one-sided and lopsided about things, and so they're releasing what this is 7 light side, 8 in a row.
Yeah, you get 4 Gungans plus Padme plus Jar Jar. That's 6, 8 with the
Yeah,
two that go with her.
with no dark side in the middle. I mean, maybe we will get something in the middle. I just, yeah,
I feel like we.
it's a lot, man.
So they also did say so the new raid is gonna be Naboo themed. Um, and they did say that it would have a subset of characters from Galactic Republic, Jedi, Gungans, and Separatists. So do you think we would get any new Separatists that we don't have in game?
I mean, so this is something I did a bonus stream last night. Just I needed to do some conquest, and because I had to skip out on my last 2 GAC matches for unpleasant travel reasons.
Hmm.
I was like, okay, we'll do this. And so the discussion went to Stap and his really frustrating unique, where it's just like, hey, he's good if you have his Omicron and you're using him in GAC, and otherwise he's crippled beyond belief and he's not usable anywhere else. Like
Oh,
Stap is complete, and so people are like, yeah, he's just total garbage, and I'm like, my response was, I'll admit he's garbage once we're like clear of these releases that they've been
yeah.
doing, because I think it's very possible that there's another character that goes out there that complements him really well that somehow cancels that out or mitigates the circumstance. But right now it just looks like pure awful. Like they just released a GAC only character and it costs an Omicron to participate.
Right.
So
Okay.
it seems to me like he's so awful, and honestly, CG has done a fairly decent job of releasing useful kits. I mean, like that's like the one ray of sunshine in all of this. Like for the most part, when we criticize CG for all the bugs, for all the weird everything, for not releasing Jedi Cal on a good, like for not telling us about things that we want to know about, for being disingenuous. Like we could go on about how CG is just not my favorite company or whatever. And they're not as bad as they could be, I guess. But
Mm-hmm.
there's all this. The one thing that I've always had to give them, even at my lowest point, was they make pretty good kits. Actually, in fact, that's something I've thought forever. I haven't really ever thought differently.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And I think you're right though to say like we can't really judge right now what's going on because we're in the middle of a release for all this content and we don't know what's coming.
Right.
Like yes, we know that like there's the raid, there's Jar Jar, there's all these things that we do know are coming, but there could be many other things thrown in there as well.
Oh, and it just seems like so they're even mentioned in the road ahead. The new raid is going to probably have separatist characters, and probably they'll be droid
Yeah.
like separatist droids because it would just I don't know like Newt would probably be allowed in there
Hmm.
because he was part of episode 1, but then beyond that like Trench wouldn't make a lot of sense necessarily.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, even Grievous like hadn't come to the forefront of the Civil War yet. But then again, they do throw some of that canon stuff out the door, which probably they should. Anyways, I just feel like Stapp is just going to be, I don't know, he's going to be a central part of that whatever the Separatist team is, and I mean. I would just like to believe that they're gonna have some kind of release that makes him non-awful,
Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
which would give us a dark side, one more dark side to look forward to at some point. Maybe,
Right. Another marquee, maybe.
maybe we'll get a conquest character.
May maybe. My thought on it is just that like whatever they are planning to release, if they're gonna make it eligible for the raid, which I'm not saying it has to be, they can easily release stuff that they're like, nah, we're not gonna put this in the raid. Um, I feel like it needs to be in game before the raid goes live.
Yeah,
So
yeah, in game, not necessarily available to the masses, but in game.
right, like it needs to be live in game and attainable. Like it just there's something about like launching a raid without having all the eligible characters even available that doesn't sit right. And I just don't think they would do that. I don't think they would be that ridiculous.
No, I mean, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, every time I'm like, they can't possibly do that. Then they're like, you know what? We'll find a way to do that kind of at least. Like, don't count us out. Don't
Hold,
tell me that's impossible.
hold my beer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Oh, do you guys call it beer?
Bière if you're in. I think I just butchered that. No.
So you're
Sorry.
apparently not in, you know,
Quebec.
Quebec. I'm glad I got to it before you did, so that I didn't sound like I'll only sound mostly ignorant now. So, all right, so we got the raid.
Yeah.
And I guess let's leave it off there on my segment.
Oh.
We're gonna go. Yeah, I didn't realize that we've been recording for over 30 minutes. So we're gonna go over to Sarah's channel, folks, and talk about the rest of the road ahead and all the releases and the madness and things of that nature, including. I wanted to talk about it on my half, but that's fine. The Rise of the Empire territory battle map that we think, which node will it be? We'll play which node will it be for whatever the territory battle is. It'll be good.
Yeah.
Except for the Mandalorian node. I can't talk, but yeah, we'll see you on Sarah's channel. So like, subscribe here, subscribe, comment, whatever on Sarah's channel. Found in the video description or a link below us or amongst us because there's no
Somewhere.
below us here. Yeah, so we'll see you in a minute.